All right. Can anyone hear me? Met stream. I went. What the hell's happening? You working? I hear you. What's I did? It works. Oh, I hit end stream. I'm on StreamYard. I don't know. I don't know why it's I don't understand YouTube Live. All right. Who's here? How many people we got? 2? Jay? It works. I don't know. I'm on StreamYard. I only use StreamYard when I don't need StreamYard normally. I just use it when I have 2 people because you need 2 people on the camera. YouTube doesn't have that. Anyways, game 1, since they came back, they played 3 good quarters and 1 bad quarter. Game 2, 2 bad quarters and 2 good quarters. Next game, they'll play 1 good quarter and 3 bad quarters, but at least they won. Hey, they beat 2 teams that were good teams, or at least above 500 teams. Yes, I thought she was very nice. Apparently, she was a fan of Clarkson College, and they know each other. So that's good. Yeah, she was a good passer. She did a lot of like no look passes, but it's kind of like she no looked at the last second, so to make it look good. I saw the highlights of hers. I just went to StreamYard. That's all I went. I don't know why it's working on StreamYard, but not on. Let me look at what's over there. But I didn't do anything. That's over on. I'm not sure. I wish somebody would explain it to me. I had to figure all this out myself. And Rob doesn't know anything, so I have to do it all myself. I want to do podcasting, but I did shut down the other stream. I don't know why. And then I restarted my computer. I hit end stream. I restarted my computer, and then I started another screen. So I don't know. Anyway, what do you guys want to talk about? I'm up and running. All right, this was our victory party. We got 2 wins in a row, 4 out of the last 5. I don't know. I'll figure it out eventually, I think. Hopefully. I was just telling these guys, there's these 2 guys trolling my videos. Well, it depends. Are they going to appeal? That's a technical. How did she get a technical for that? And Skylar Diggins Smith got no technical for the 2 things she did. They can't or they can look like kindergartners at time. You said can't look like kindergartners or can look like kindergartners? It was the first half was painful, just like the third quarter of last game was painful. So I don't know what happens. They just go ballistic. Sides decide to slow it down when they got like the best shot blocker in the league. Oh, and go. Let's feed it to the post where you got a 6'4" person with long arms who can shot block and second in the league in rebounding in shot blocks. She's so dumb. Yeah, I mean, I can see can't, but I'm confused by the sentence. Then I've been getting flack from idiots giving me a hard time about professional players and how they can't look like kindergarten at times. I'm not sure what you mean by their sentence. Then Jay wants to replace Mitchell. Well, the last two games they wouldn't have won without Mitchell, probably. I get it, Philly English. I'm not sure I understand your sentence. I would have thought you're saying they look like kindergartners and they don't agree, or they're saying you look. I don't understand what you're saying. I'm from New York too, so don't give me that. Just explain. I don't understand your sentence. I don't understand the whole sentence. First, tell me who's saying they look like kindergartners. Are you agreeing or disagreeing? Because I don't understand what you're trying to say there. I know what you wrote. I just don't understand it. Some thought Lacey her twin. You're getting flack for saying they look like kindergartners or they don't look like kindergartners. Which one are you getting flack for? That's the part I don't understand. I think I saw something about kindergartners. They do act like babies. Lexi twin. That's my problem. All right, Lexi has a twin. Really, an identical twin, or and how they look like kindergartners. Yeah, Mitchell's delusional. Mitchell is not good enough to be a star player in a team that wins a championship. I think I talked about this in a video. That's what what's his name? No, you said how they look like kindergartners at times as opposed to they can't look like kindergartners. Those are two different sentences. Never mind. It's not worth it. If you remember Kyrie Irving, he decided he couldn't play with LeBron because he wanted to be the 1A and lead a team to a championship. And then he realized he wasn't good enough, and now he accepts his role in Dallas. And Mitchell thinks she's good enough to lead a team to a championship just because she's a great scorer and one-on-one player. The problem is she's not a great all-around player. And so she's delusional. She needs to be one of several, stars to make it. The league's not that weak. And Mitchell's not going to lead a team to a championship as the best player on the team. If that was the case, she'd be first team All-Pro. Mitchell needs to grow up. That's my opinion. Just like Kyrie Irving needed to grow up. That's my opinion. I'm sticking to it. You guys agree with me or no? Lexi's identical twin played with her at Stanford. So where's her twin right now? Her twin didn't make it in the WNBA? What's her name? Is Jermaine or Jerma? Jerma Hall? Is that her name? Let me look up her stats. It's true, Joseph. I agree with that about Mitchell. She's immature. Let me go to settings here. Hang on a second. Why do they do this to me? Default search engine. You're saying her two twin plays. What's her first name? Lacey? Okay, it's LACIE. I found it. All right. She's got dark hair. And she plays. She's not in the league this year, according to this. She played in 22. That's the last year she played. That's the last year she's got stats. She hasn't played in the league in 2 years. What happened to her? No, Mitchell misses layups. That's not true. Well, on ESPN, they don't have her listed as being in the league right now. It says the last time she was in the league was 2002. I wonder what happened. She was getting 25 minutes in 2022, played 36 games, played 4 points, and then she was out of the league after that. Don't know where she is. She's missing in action. Maybe she decided she wasn't going to make enough money and got a different career or something. She's probably smart. She went to Stanford, right? Mitchell will go. I agree, Jay. Caitlin, the smarter the player, the better they'll play with Clark. Because if you play dumb and don't know what you're doing, Clark will get frustrated with you. You see that. Clark gets frustrated with players who don't play team ball, don't know what they're doing. Tammy? You mean Temi? Yeah, she seems injury prone. I hope this is the end of her injuries. Yeah, they keep moving her start date up. Smith, Mitchell, Wheeler, Wallace all play dumb. I'm trying to think, if Wallace plays dumb or is she just not that good? Wheeler's dumb. Smith is dumb, and Mitchell's dumb. I don't know about Wallace. She's not a lockdown defender. That was one of the funniest comments of the year. Wallace is a lockdown defender. That's why she's starting. So I just like, really? You must be watching a different player than the rest of us because she kept getting burned on defense. They might be, Brett. I'm not doubting that as a possibility. I guess it depends on who the coach and the GM is next year. Dunn's old, Sides is incompetent. And Dunn is incompetent if she's the one that approved Taylor getting releases instead of Saxon. Yeah, I don't know how Wheeler got so much money. Just because of the number of years in the league. I think she's been in the league for like 10 years or something. I can't believe she's been a point guard in this league all this time. She looks like she's never played point guard before at times. Yeah, Grace Berger, I don't know. They haven't given her a chance all year. It's Grace. So Lexi shot 30.374% in threes in college and shoots 26.2% in the pros. How much sense does that make? 11% lower. Can her sister shoot? Let's see. Lacey Hall stats. She shot almost the same as her twin sister, 36.4% in college for threes instead of 0.374. Interesting. That's why they're twins. I think if the other team does not have a big front line, they should start Lexi. Oh, if they have a big front line, it's a problem. Mark, identical. I have an identical twin. They broke the mold after me. Question is, who should start against Lynx? Let me see what their starting lineup is. I said, keep up. Let me see here. Were they playing Minnesota Lynx? Let me see their starting lineup. Let's go to the stats. So the 5 players that are getting playing time they're playing 3 forwards and 2 Nafise Collier, Kaylee McBride, Alana Smith, Courtney Williams, and Bridget Carlton. It appears to be their starting lineup. They each play 27 more minutes or more. Let's see how tall these people are. Bridget Carlton, 6'1". All right, that's not a problem. She's a forward, and Hall can cover her. Alana Smith, 6'4", not a problem. And Nafise Collier, she's only like 6'1" too, I think. Yeah. So that's not a problem. They don't have a tall front line, so Hall should start against them. Kaylee McBride, she's good. She's 5'11". That's not. And Courtney Williams, 5'8". All right. So, my opinion, Hall should start. They don't have they have 2 6'1" forwards. Just put her on one of those. They don't have a big front line, so no reason to start Samuelson. I just don't think Samuelson's that good a player. Sorry, she seems like a nice person, but you need Hall to start. Really? See, Shannon Sharp, why did she roast them? He roast them for what? Albert, for their behavior at the end of the game or for their play? Oh, no, whoever gets fired? No, they don't care. They don't care about Caitlin Clark. They don't even want her in the league. They're so stupid. It's like this is the dumbest league. This is like the low IQ league. Unless if Temmie's ready, that's different. She should always start. You could bench Smith. Smith's so inconsistent. One game she'll have a real good game, but she's inconsistent, especially on defense. Yeah, I don't know if Temmie's going to be ready. They had her ready. They had her listed for the 18th, and now they have her listed for the next game. So it seems like a day-by-day thing, but 5 days, they have? Was it 6 days? They have 6 days in between, so 5-day rest. So that's a lot of days. So that'll be fun. The most influential player with the most audience, yep, suspend her. I went over all her technicals this year. And the only one that I'm sure she should have gotten was the first one. Nightcap Mark Sharp. Well, we've been blasting them all year. I just get tired of saying the same things over and over again. But I'll look it up. What is it called, Mark? Nightcap Mark Sharp. What is he trying to steal my name? I got it. I wrote it down. I can't do it now. I'm talking to you guys, but Nightcap Mark Sharp. But it was a nice interview with Michael Thompson. I didn't make a video of it, but he basically just said what everybody else is saying, that they're a bunch of jealous, petty women envious of her. But I've covered it so many times. These women are just pathetic. I made a whole video. She's got the coldest reception since Jackie Robinson. I don't know how much stronger I can say it. So, of course, I got that one guy who had to be that guy. And I made it clear that I wasn't comparing the two reception. I was saying the worst since. And then I made it clear that what he got was, oh, nightcap. Oko Cinco's kind of a jerk, but Shannon Sharp's okay. Oko Cinco, he's the one that, like, didn't he put a bathrobe on him with Hall of Fame and then Hall of Fame question mark? And he put it on early in his career, and then he never made the Hall of Fame. Yeah. I still don't know if she was upset about Caitlin Clark waving the crowd on, or whether she was upset that she didn't pull her starters out. Reeve, Swoops, and Gino. Yeah, it's just, it's a pathetic. I agree. Gino's a jerk. He's just a jerk. He's always been a jerk. He kept Candace Parker off the team in 2016. Nobody knows why she was pointing her finger. Someone apparently thought they did in the comments in my thing. Dawn Staley, she's an idiot. I don't like her anymore. I think she kept Caitlin Clark off the team. I'm sure, was it Lynn Rosati? Is that her name? Liz, what's her? Jennifer Rosati. Jennifer Rosati kept her off the team. Those two had a lot to do with it. And so did Cheryl Reeves. He knows he's a jerk too, and he likes it. Kinda. But what he said about Clark, I already did a video of this. It just didn't age very well. She has the wrong skill set. Wrong skill set. How is passing the wrong skill set? And logo threes, and threes are the wrong skill set. Can't have the physicality. What about Paige Becker? You think she can handle the physicality? She's a waif. She's skinny. I have nothing against Paige Becker. I wish her well, but she's already been injured twice, and she's skinny. You think she's going to handle the physicality of the league? Well, they're going to. Staley didn't admit she screwed up. No. I'm not giving her that. That was damage control. She knew she screwed up when she did it. She did it anyways. She knew she was wrong when she did it. That's what she's a piece of crap. Sorry. She didn't even admit it. She said she would have been in high consideration. She was already in high consideration. She was in the final 14 or 16. That's bullcrap. She went on the program just for damage control. And then Mike Tirico with a softball question. That's bullcrap. She would have got much tougher questions from me or Bob Costas. Can make the hernia full court press. I don't know. You tell me. I gave some ice. I'll be right back. If you see Dawn Staley's comments, she made them before Caitlin Clark entered the WNBA. She already had her off the team before she even entered the WNBA. About, she'll have her chance. She was already jonesing to keep her off the team. She's still pissed that she beat her in the semifinals 2 years, 16 months ago. Beat her undefeated team, whipped her ass. Clark has large hands. Maybe that's why she's a good passer. Hernia full court pass. Oh, pass. Oh, I see. Not many. I see. Sorry, I read it too quick. No, I don't know anybody else in the league can then make the length of the court passes besides her. I've never seen anyone make them besides her. Caitlin is faster than Paige. I think she is faster than Paige. Not a lot faster. Paige isn't slow. Stand on one end of the court and try to with both hands pass to the other end. I'll have to check on that. I'm sure I couldn't do it. The ref still be in the hospital. He disrespected the game. That's just her two middle fingers are you guys, how do you know? You noticed her hands? Her two middle fingers are longer than her pinky. I was shocked when I watched the first game she played. She got out of the way almost of the person, and they called a foul. Then I believe she does. Michael Jordan had really big hands too. Gives him a lot of ball control. Have you measured her hands, you guys? Her two middle fingers are 2 inches longer. Well, I'm looking at my hand, and my ring finger is not 2 inches longer. Hang on. Let's see. All right. My middle finger is 3/4 of an inch longer than my pinky. And my middle finger is only 1 inch longer than my pinky. So she's got way bigger hands than I do, if that's the case. I just measured them. Your longtime friend told me, 35 years plus. Caitlin accelerates faster than anyone I've seen. Faster than Kennedy Carter or even Mitchell? I don't know. She's fast, but she's not. Paige? Yeah, I think she's a good clutch player. Caitlin Clark seems even more clutch to me, though. Caitlin Clark, okay, so Caitlin Clark had 6 big games in her career. Elite 8, Final 4, and finals of the junior and senior year. She had 3 huge games out of 6. Think about that. Her 6 biggest games of her career, she played fantastic in 3 of them and average in the other 3. That's great. Most people in 6 games, they play 1 great, 1 very good, 1 above average, 1 below average, 1 not so good, 1 1 kind of bad one. That's 6 games. You only play above your average, above your ability half the time. So Clark is clutch, despite what people think. Oh, no, she's not a good dribbler. She can't dribble, according to the comment I read. Although Cheryl Miller would agree with you. That's true. She dribbles fast with the ball. I agree with that. AJ Wilson, Asia Wilson, and they have the same size hands. Wow. Paige will be great. I agree that Paige Beckers will be great. She's overly woke. I don't mind woke. I just don't like overly woke. I like woke. I don't like overly woke. But Mr. Terrible says she's garbage and injury prone. We'll see. I mean, if she continues to get injured, but what if she could have a career and not get injured much? But one injury in a 15-year career and grows, that would be okay. But she's already had two years in a row. That's a lot. Caitlin Clark doesn't get injured, but she'll eventually get an injury somewhere. She hasn't missed any time. She plays for UConn. I don't like her. I don't like UConn. You know what's terrible is that all three coaches, the three best coaches in college basketball, are all unlikable. So you don't even want to root for any of them. Yeah, she hit a floater. She hit another floater a few games back. She hit two pointers. Vadim's in jail. All right. Woke black man. Vadim got in jail. If he was fighting with woke black man and beat you up. Oh, really? Yeah, I mean, she had lots of huge games and big games. I'm just saying her six most important games of her career, and she had 3 great games out of 6. That's fantastic. They were 3 of the best games ever played by a woman in college basketball history. I don't think anybody else played 3 great games like that. That's why you can argue she's the greatest player of all time. She played at a higher level the last 2 years than any player in history. Cheryl Miller did get championships her freshman and sophomore year, but she played with the Twins. First team All-American she had teammate, and she had Cynthia Cooper coming off the bench. She had Pat and Pam McGee. So it's a lot easier to win championships when you have that type of talent around you. And I love Cheryl Miller. She's a great player. My opinion, the 3 greatest players of all time, 4 greatest players of all time are Candace Parker, Cheryl Miller, unfortunately, Brianna Stewart, and Caitlin Clark. I don't know if I put in 5th. I won't put Taurasi in 5th. I put in Kamika Catchings probably 5th. Let's see. I have this thing. Oh, Kamika Holtzclaw. I'm saying Kamika Holtzclaw. There's Tamika Catching Chimnique Holtzclaw. But and Maya Moore. That was my top 6. Maya Moore. Yeah, Maya Moore was a 14 first team All-American. And I got it. I forgot her. I got my list here. And I did some homework on this. I'm going to do a video tomorrow. But okay, Mark, you're saying MVP for the finals or the playoffs? You're not talking about regular season MVP, right? Okay, so it's Maya Moore, Maya, just so you know. Okay, so there's a finals MVP and there's a regular season MVP. The regular season MVP is voted at the end of the regular season. The playoffs have nothing to do with the regular season MVP. It's the same way in the NBA and every other sport. It's all the MVP awards in all the major sports are all regular season MVP awards. Then each league has different things, but they have a finals MVP usually is what they have. World Series MVP, there's a Super Bowl MVP, there's a finals MVP in the WNBA, and there's a finals MVP in the NBA. And in hockey, there's actually a finals MVP, I believe. Some colleges do it a little different where they do a Final Four MVP. He means the season. Yeah, the MVP is voted on at the end of the regular season. The playoffs have nothing to do with it. Hey, Albert, what kind of pancakes? Blueberry? That's my favorite. Ask Aaliyah if it's going to be blueberry. Aaliyah Boston. Aaliyah Boston seems like one of the nicest people in the league. Is it me or does it just seem that way? I've never met her in person, but she just seems so nice. Kim Mulkey. Do you guys agree with me that Gina, Dawn Staley, and Kim Mulkey are all unlikable? Like the three best coaches in college basketball aren't likable? I'm speaking. You can't hear me? Really? What the heck? Sound is fine? All right. You can hear me? All right. All right. Woke Black Man, you causing trouble? Hey, you can't even spell black right. Yes, unlikable. Okay, everybody agrees with me that Kim Mulkey, Dawn Staley, and Gino, I always mispronounce his last name right. I always could practice it. Ariamo, whatever his name is. You're me fine. Are unlikable. So, all right. Who's going to win Player of the Year? Paige Beckers or Juju Watkins? That's my poll. I my other thing. All right. That's my first question. Paige Beckers. I'd like an answer. Paige Beckers or Juju Watkins? Who do you think is going to win Player of the Year? Or don't you care because Caitlin Clark's out of college basketball? Stokey? Maybe her senior year. Stokey's a fine athlete. I think she'll make it in the WNBA. Lucy Olson's going to get it. You guys are all Iowa fans. I don't think so. Lucy Olson is transferred from Villanova, right? To take Caitlin Clark's place or try to take her place. I was looking at the ESPN, which of course you know what's wrong. But Connecticut had 5 injuries last year, and they got like 3 big recruits. I'm afraid they're going to win another national championship. But then South Carolina always they got a bunch of good recruits. LSU got good recruits too. So Juju Watkins could have a good team behind her. Stokey to the Fever. I said that too. I would love to see her in the Fever. How many more? You got to wait 2 more years, right? She's going to be a junior. Yeah, it was so dumb. They could have drafted Kate Martin and got her in the team with Caitlin Clark. And then they drafted Taylor and didn't use her. They're just so dumb. What a wasted draft pick. Imagine Kate Martin on that team to help out with the chemistry and the team with Caitlin Clark and some depth. Who's got to grow some? Yeah, I know. And what about Monica? How do you pronounce her last name? Used to play with Iowa. I don't know. I always pronounce her name wrong. It seems to me, I don't know. She's not fast, but she played well with Clark at Iowa, and she shoots a good percentage underneath the basket. She can actually make layups underneath the basket. Yeah, Stokey has 2 more years. She's a junior. She's a good athlete. I understand she ran track and played volleyball in high school. She's going to be a very good player. I think she can make it in the WNBA. So Paige is going to win next year, and then Juju. Yeah, with Juju, by the time she's a junior, if she doesn't win, I'd be surprised. She's not. Yeah, she's over in I don't know, like Turkey or somebody. I don't know. She's over in Europe playing basketball. I'm wondering whether she'll ever make it in the WNBA. She's slow, but she's not skillless. She actually has some post up ability and rebound. She can actually shoot at a high percentage underneath the basket, unlike most WNBA players. So I don't see her as a star or anything, but I think she could make it. Yeah. I'd like to see her be on Caitlin Clark's team. She's used to playing with her. Stokey. Yeah, get all those Iowa grads on their team. Dantas is slow, but she does have a nice touch on her shot. She doesn't know how to set a pick. Yeah, we need Temi back. If they're going to do anything, they need Temi back. She really adds something to that team. Hey, everyone was scoring last game. Yeah, in the first. Yeah. Vadim, you're late. We docked you a day's pay. Woke Black Man said you were in jail. Although he's not a real black man. He's missing the C in his name. I need to be general manager of the Indiana Fever. I would build a team around Caitlin Clark to win a championship. First thing I would do is try to talk Maya Moore to come out of retirement for 2 years. Mark Dunn. The next thing I do is I would try to hire either Mark Jackson or Cheryl Miller to be the coach. Anybody besides Sides. Rob, anybody. She'd be fired so quickly, her head would spin. I hate how she talks about her players to the press. Anybody but Sides. Yes, Kelsey Mitchell is benefiting from Caitlin Beaton, and she needs to realize that she's getting wide open threes because of Caitlin Clark, and so is Hall, and so is Samuelson, and they need to hit them. They really do. Those are practice threes. When you're wide open, that's a practice three. I know you can't hit it 100% of the time, but you got to hit them on a regular basis. Sides the coach of the year. Someone said make a highlight video of Sides or a contribution of her contributions or something. I said, that'd be a really short video. Yeah, I knew there was something wrong with that woman. Was it after the first preseason game or the second where they asked a question about Caitlin Clark? And she went on this 3-minute, thing about D'Antoni. Yeah, D'Antoni would be the right type of coach, except Rob doesn't like him because he didn't stress any kind of defense. But that type of coach who knows how to run. And the first press conference, or maybe the second press conference after the game, she started putting down Caitlin Clark. And she even said it in a derogatory way, after she passes, she had a tendency to stand around there and dance. It wasn't necessary to say that, or how to say it. It wasn't even necessary to put that criticism out there. Take some long twos. Or she took a long two yesterday, actually. She took one long two and she hit it. I guess she was just showing everybody that she had a 2-point game. I like to see her drive to the basket and just pull up and hit it like an 8 to 12 foot jumper. Because sometimes she gets there and there's some really tall women there that hard, because women have a hard time driving to the basket and scoring over other women that are tall because they don't have many post moves and they don't have jumping ability. So a 8 to 12 foot jumper, stop and pop jumper is very effective as a scorer, especially if you're one that drives to the basket a lot. And Caitlin Clark needs to do that. I tried buying the Fever. They turned down $90 million. Well, Rick, how about going for $1 billion? I just bought a lottery ticket tonight just for the hell of it. 5 lottery tickets because it's like $500 million. If I win, I'm going for the Fever. Yeah, Kelsey is weird, Vadim. I can't figure her out. There's no explaining cognitive dissonance. Well, some people can explain it. Psychologists, maybe. So it was funny that I made a video about the haters, and then one of the haters made a comment about me too. Yeah. Just 2 ticks. And so one of the guys that I was making fun of, didn't even realize he was one of the haters I was making fun of, made a comment and said, "Oh, that we don't know what we're talking about. We don't know anything about basketball, and that he's an objective person." Of course, he called Caitlin Clark a turnover machine in college. Mitchell is Caitlin's Tyreek Hill. Skylar Diggins was out of line twice yesterday. First, she was out of line for bumping Clark. She should have been thrown out of the game. Well, no, she got a technical for that. And then she should have got a technical when she got involved in the argument between the coaches. That wasn't her spot to say anything. No, she didn't get a technical. The ref goes, "Oh, just calm down, everyone. Be okay." Caitlin Clark, boom. It would have been 2 technicals on her. Boom, boom, really quickly. Those refs hate Caitlin Clark. About 75% of the refs hate Caitlin Clark. I swear to God. She's her Mahomie. I love watching Patrick Mahomes play. I'll tell you. I mean, I'm not a Kansas City fan. And if they play the Packers in the Super Bowl, wouldn't that be great? Kansas City, the first Super Bowl, if you don't know, was Kansas City and Green Bay. And that was Green Bay's 3rd championship in a row. 2nd Super Bowl, because there wasn't a Super Bowl in 65. If Patrick Mahomes makes it to the Super Bowl, going for 3 straight titles, the only team to do it other than the Packers, and they play the Packers in the Super Bowl, and the Packers can prevent them from winning 3 in a row, that would get great ratings. With Jordan Love, the new young and up-and-coming quarterback. You guys don't care. You're all Caitlin Clark fans, but I'm a Packers fan. I think that'd be a great Super Bowl. Caitlin Clark didn't do any behind-the-back passes this game, did she? Yeah, because I understand Taurasi and Skylar Diggins Smith don't like each other. I thought it was all Taurasi until I saw Skylar Diggins Smith last night. Now it's her too. Oh, Mahomes behind the back pass. Yeah, I saw that. I wonder, would he have tried that pass in regular season? That's what I want to know. Not like a regular season game that was close, not a blowout. Would Patrick Mahomes have tried that pass? Skylar has anger issues and proud to take a child. But she appeared that way last night. Everybody hit the like button. Joseph says, listen to Joseph. Woke black man. Woke black man is probably a hidden Caitlin Clark fan. He's just trying to be funny. Yeah, and Patrick Mahomes, I don't have anything bad to say about him, except for that he did throw a temper tantrum last year when they took back that call. I think he was upset about a call that they took back a play after the thing, but monetizing Bud on YouTube. They say, well, she was listed to return this game too, but I have a feeling she'll be there on Saturday. And she should start. And then Lexi Hall is the first person off the bench. And Wheeler, the last person off the bench. I don't know. I can handle Wheeler playing 6 minutes. With Caitlin Clark resting the first 3 minutes of the second quarter and first 3 minutes of the fourth quarter, which is how I think she should do the substitution. Because they have a tendency not to close out quarters very well, and they need Caitlin Clark in the whole quarter, in the first and third quarter. And then she gets 4-minute rest between quarters, like I explained, and then she gets additional rest for the 3 minutes, and then she'll be really rested. Skylar helped recruit Caitlin to Notre Dame. Yeah, and then she changed her mind and started to say in Iowa. I don't know why she changed her mind. It's not exactly clear, but she changed her mind. I wonder what a career would have been like in Notre Dame. They had a pretty good team this year without her, but they had they had a point guard that was good too. What was her name? I forgot her name now. Woke sleeps with the cardboard cutout of Caitlin Vadim. Caitlin Vadim's a person? Oh, Skylar has multiple impulse control issues and has probably been drinking. You mean WA Kool-Aid? In other words, she's supposed to give Caitlin Clark a hard time? Is that what the WNBA Kool-Aid is? Germa's here. What, Germa? You're late. Yeah, Lisa Bluter would be a good GM. She didn't want to coach anymore. Bubba. Yeah, I mean, Caitlin does lose her temper sometimes, but she was given a lot in the WNBA, so I gotta cut her some slack on that. But she lost her temper sometimes in Iowa, but just because she's so competitive. But as long as she's not unsportsmanlike, I can handle that her losing her temper as long as she's not unsportsmanlike. Mark from PA. Hey, Mark. Bubba is Vadim's soulmate. Yeah. She was in that first, I forget who it was against, like Holy Cross or somebody like that, the first round of the NCAA tournament. They were mauling her, and she wasn't getting the calls. And she was whining about the refs, which I understand. There was a lot of pressure on her because the year before they had lost the finals, their last year. And her father told her to shut the F up. and quit complaining. And the rest of the tournament, she barely complained about the refs. There's always something a bit off with the genius. Are you talking about me, Joseph? Do you think Caitlin calling the Storm crybabies when they were after sides unsportsmanlike? That's why I agree, Brett. That's what I said. She's so competitive. Yes, he was, Vadim. She tripped a parents' meeting. How do you trip a parents' meeting? I heard she would get upset if she lost Candyland. Some use idiot savant. No, you're not talking about me now anymore, I guess. You talking to me, Vadim? Do I think Caitlin called the Storm crybabies? Oh, did she do that? When did she say that? In the press conference? I didn't see that she called him that. I don't know if she really called him that. Well, they are crybabies. All she did was motion the crowd to cheer. Big deal. She's at home. She's allowed to do that. Cute said she didn't say it. I'd have to see the content that she did. If she said it to her teammates or did she say it to the press? I'm confused. Oh, she said quit crying? Yeah. There's supposedly this video out that shows Caitlin Clark, doing physical stuff. And they don't show what happened before that because I've never seen her start anything physical, like in any kind of dirty way or anything like that. And I've never seen her start trash talking. I've always seen the other person start something with her, and she just doesn't take it. But people don't want to hear that. They just want to try to haters just want to try to pretend she starts it when she doesn't. She's generally a very good sport. I think she has a sense of morals that her, parents gave her. Yeah, I still, does anybody know for sure what the coach was upset about? Because I heard two different things. First, I heard it was because she didn't pull her starters out when she called the timeout. When the timeout was called at a minute 17, up by 18, which I would have pulled the starters. Or was it because that they were upset about Clark waving her hands? Well, if you see the play with Kennedy Carter fouled Clark from behind and hooked her arm. So in order to get free, Clark, this is underneath the basket. This is when she got hip checked. Clark elbowed her to get loose and then probably said something like, I don't know what she said after that. Like, what do you expect when you grab my arm or whatever? And then she got upset. Carter was out of line. She started it. So Vadim, you're saying you're just disagreeing with the person that made a comment on my one of my videos. They said it was about Clark waving to the crowd. I don't understand. What was the big deal after Sides noticed that the other coach pulled her starters? She called a timeout immediately and pulled her starters. So there was no harm. The starters weren't out there for any points. Why would you be upset about that? I think Coach Side should have pulled the starters in a minute 17, up by 18. But that's another story. I know that Van Gundy says, he was announcing a game, commentating, and he said, when they don't pull their starters, I'm not going to pull my starters. Call off your dogs, I'll call off mine. He said, that it's their fault if they don't pull their starters also. But the coach did pull her starters, but Sides wasn't even paying attention. Storms should have got teed up, and so should have. I would have given 2 technicals to what's her face, Skylar. Well, first she bumped into Clark, and then she got involved in the discussion between the 2 coaches, which she had no business getting involved in. They were just upset because they got blown out in the 4th quarter. It was a tight game. They were expecting. They figured the Fever would fold in the 4th quarter, and because they've done that too many times, and they thought the game was theirs because it was close, and they'd beaten them 3 times. They thought they had their number, and they got blown out in the 4th quarter. And they were kind of in shell shock. Yeah, I don't care about double doubles and all that stuff. You know what? It's an arbitrary number. If we were in like a base 8 or base 12, the whole thing would be different. What's important is that, Clark plays well and puts up good numbers. Look at Chuck with the trivia over here. Yeah, I saw Lloyd. Well, do you guys think that she was getting the benefit of the calls? Lloyd seemed to. I swear, there was 3 calls that I thought she got that didn't really look like fouls to me. Looked like she initiated the contact by driving into the defender, but they didn't show a replay on any of them, so I can't say for sure whether I'm right or not. And I don't like to say that without the first one. I'm pretty sure on. She drove right into Boston. I got a pretty good angle on that one. The other 2, I wasn't sure. I know Clark and Boston were upset about that foul call. Yeah, it is so mind-boggling to me that they decide to give Caitlin Clark a hard time about calls. She gets ticky-tack fouls. I mean, it was worse the first 10 or 12 games than it is now, but they called her for ticky-tack fouls at the same time she's getting hacked underneath the basket and getting clutched and grabbed and held when she was trying to, dribble and drive. And there was no calls on that. It just wasn't fair. Yeah, Bark, I agree with you. We discussed that earlier. I did not think that was a technical. It wasn't in anyone's face. She just kind of slammed the dunk. Big deal. There was nobody there. It wasn't in front of a player. There was no coach there. The ball was in Indiana Fever. She walked right over to receive the ball. She didn't delay the game at all. I don't understand. That ref didn't like Caitlin Clark, apparently. And I think it was a white guy, too, that did it, right? It's that white male gave her the technical. I remember. Yeah, I remember the first game. It's pretty tough to play well when you're in foul trouble and play defense. Yeah, let's beat Minnesota. I agree. The first game, I knew the refs were against her from game one. That wasn't just the first game. First 10 or 12 games, it was almost like it was a conspiracy. And the black refs were worse than the white refs. I hate to say it, but they were. I didn't notice it at first too much. Then someone pointed out, and I started really noticing. And then it really came to head. So in that game against Chicago, Reeve up next. Rob liked it when I called her the delightful Shara Reeves on the video today, so I put it on all 3 videos. The delightful Shara Reeves is next. Yes, that's Reeves. Gosh, it would have been so great if they lost by 1 point instead of winning by 1 point. Sorry. It would have been so embarrassing that, they tried to embarrass Clark and they would have been embarrassed. They'd still get their silver medal. So at least, they get a medal. Don't be a Cheryl, be a Cheryl. Sorry, I was rooting against him. I think that's the only way to get rid of the corruption. I don't mind admitting it. Now they go, oh, look at our goal was to win the gold medal. We won the gold medal. They think they're going to claim they did nothing wrong. So I'm hoping someone sees it differently and says, no, you guys screwed up. You didn't choose the 12 best players. Reeves going to try to hurt CC? I don't know. I think the refs are protecting her more now than they were in the beginning of the year. But we'll see. The refs suck, though. That's all there's to it. I like how that one ref came out and he's like head of head ref or something like that association. He explained they start out with like 5,000 people and they get it down to the best 20. It's like, wow, this is the best ones they got. He's collected all. Jasmine Ball, welcome. You just get here? Really? What about lesbian refs? Does that make a difference? Other lesbian refs are more likely to be called against Caitlin Clark too? Welcome to the ball, Jasmine Ball. Yeah, it'd be nice for her to beat any team that had an Olympian on her team. So how many teams? Let's see. So Minnesota, Liberty, the Aces. Did I figure out my mute button yet? No, I have no idea what's happening. Why I lose it? I lose it. Brett's leaving. All right, Brett. We'll see you Saturday. Was the games at 8? Games at 8, right? All right. We'll see you Saturday at 8. No, I have no idea, Vadim. I use the same mic and the same laptop for my recordings with Rob, and my mic never gets disconnected. Yeah. You know what? They can beat anybody, though. Tough teams, rough teams. They just have to play well. They just really. Yeah, it's happened midstream, and I have no idea what. I mean, I have no idea. I'm at a loss. I'm not a computer expert, but I'm not incompetent either. Really? I'm hitting something on the keyboard. I'll just leave my hands off the keyboard then. I haven't touched the keyboard once since you guys have been doing here. Joseph, you taking a shot at me? Cheryl next up to get stadium filled with Fever fans. Looking forward to 3 All-Stars beating another 3 Olympians. Yeah. So, what are the chances of the Fever winning any playoff series? Keep in mind, if they win the first playoff series, the team they play next isn't going to be any better. Probably not going to be as strong because they're probably going to get the 2 seed. So let's see let me just see for a second. You play 1, 8, 4, 5. Two, 7. You guys look at it this way. If they end up in 7th, which is the most likely scenario, they would get a 2 seed. If they get upset them, they would play the winner between a 3 and a 6 seed. So they would probably get the 3 seed though. If they end up the 6th seed, they would get the 3 seed. And if they win that, they would get the 2 seed if the 2 seed beats the 7th seed. So they wouldn't get the 1 seed until the finals because you'd only get the 1 seed in the finals if you end up in 4th, 5th, or 8th. So that's good because they can get farther in the playoffs and they get some playoff experience. I don't think it looks like New York Liberty is going to win this year, but who knows? The Aces won the last 2 years and, they started out slow, but I don't think that Chelsea Gray is going to be healthy this year. If she's still hobbling around now, it could be 5th. I don't know. They'd have to win an awful lot of games. I mean, who knows? They're playing well. They're going to lose some games they're not supposed to, they shouldn't. They've already lost games they shouldn't have lost. They got to make sure they not lose to, but now Dallas has, picked up their best player. She was first team All-Pro last year. That's why it was a shame they choked that game away. But Deem's going with 6. All right. If they're going with 6, they'll get the 3 seed. And it's unclear who's going to be the 3 seed right now because they're all bottled up in that area. But that's the way the playoffs work. If they're doing it the way I think they're doing it. 1 versus 8 and 4 versus 5 is the top half of the bracket. And the bottom half is 3 versus 6 and 2 versus 7. Yeah, that's good. Because Vegas will be in the top half of the bracket. 4, 5, 1, and 8 will be in the top half of the bracket. So, because Vegas is probably going to be better than their record. Lynx is in 3rd, right? But we don't know what's going to happen because those teams are pretty close together. They're the 3rd seed right now, but they're going to lose this Saturday, right? Right, guys? Do you think the Fever is going to win? I mean, anytime they play Minnesota, I think I root more against Minnesota than any other team right now, even more so than Phoenix. That coach is she the most unlikable coach in sports? Seriously, and in all seriousness, or even more uncoachable than sides. Cheryl Reeves is the most unlikable coach in sports. Yeah, they gave her such a hard time the first 10 or 12 games. Caitlin Clark just improved quicker than I thought she was going to improve. I actually think her passing is better than I thought it was going to be at this point. Even though I thought her passing was great, but her passing from another world right now. Someone will get free. I agree. And Caitlin Clark has nice height for a point guard, and big fingers, as someone said. Staley, Storm coach, will be working on it after yesterday. And, well, I don't like Gino, and I don't like what's her name, Kim Mulkey. I don't like her either. So there's three college coaches, like I said earlier. Mulkey, she dresses like she's like a circus performer on acid sometimes. She's just a weird dresser. Steve Kerr. Yeah, I'm not with you on that one. You guys just don't like his politics. Who's Pop? Oh, okay, Pop, the San Antonio coach. Yeah, you don't like his politics. He's a grump, though. That one I can buy. Storm versus Pete Popovich. Yeah, because Pop trained Hammond. Yeah, he gave her a job, right? As an assistant coach. Yeah, he's rude. He's rude to the press when they interview him. You know what? Yeah, okay. Sometimes the questions are stupid, but just answer them. Just give a short answer. He's got to act like a jerk. It's hard. It's hard to come up with intelligent questions and spur the moment in the middle of a game like that. It really is. And you got to come up with a unique question too. Fever versus the Storm in the playoffs. Well, that'd be a nice feisty playoff series. It's only best of 3. You don't have to be the best team to win a best of 3 series. you just got to win 2 out of 3. It's a little harder when it's harder when it's best of 7, obviously. Yep, still 12 games left. A lot of games left. As long as they stay healthy, they can make a run. And as long as they run and don't slow it down. Yeah. I wonder, did Berger, let me look at what did Berger do and what was her 3-point shooting in college? But I think she'd be fine pack up point guard instead of for 6 minutes a game instead of Wheeler for next year. Berger. Uh-oh, I shouldn't touch them. Oh, it's when I shouldn't touch my microphone. I shouldn't touch the keyboard because that's when it happens. You guys can still hear me, right? I touched the keyboard. Grace was a dog in college. All right. So, yeah, it's mind-boggling to me. But this year she's just not going to get playing time because they got Wheeler. But they're going to go Wheeler next year anyway. So next year Berger can play 6 minutes a game when Clark is resting. Just keep her on the team. That's what I would do. Of course, I would have kept Taylor, and then you have some depth, and you could run, and you have some more defense. But that would make too much sense. I don't think Dunn and Sides are that smart. The Fever needed more rest. They got a month off. I don't know about that. By the way, if anybody wants to make a contribution to the channel, there's super chats and super thanks down below. There's PayPal. Yeah, I think you have to find that in the video though. I don't think I put a link there. Here. They have like 5-day rest here. Dream will knock Sky out of the playoffs. Well, Sky, they give up a good player. Well, only Caitlin Clark needed the rest. The other players didn't play in college. So I don't think, Caitlin Clark was the only one that needed more of a rest. This is only a 40-game season. Why would they need more than a week rest if it's a 40-game season? She should have given Caitlin Clark extra time because she played through the college season. But she got her break. It's only 12 games left. I'm going to do a video tomorrow for you on Caitlin Clark's college career. So look for it. About her being potentially the GOAT, despite no championships. I'm going to make a logical argument for you. The non-Caitlin Clark fans will not like it, but you guys will. Carter is free agent this year. Kennedy Carter. Way to hate clicks. Kennedy Carter has a great 2-point game. I'll say that about her. She's shooting over 50%. She's got great first step. She plays solid defense. She's got mental issues. But they got 5 days off in between. Okay, rest. Yeah, I don't think they needed more than a week off. So Caitlin Clark needed 2 weeks off, and the rest of them needed 1 week off. How many games were canceled? They've still played like 20-something games, I think, that year. I still think she played 26 games that year. You have to look it up. Everything's fine with Carter except for brain. And the fact that she really doesn't have a 3-point shot. She didn't like the 3-point shot. I'm sure she's capable of developing a 3-point shot because he's such a great athlete, but she doesn't have one. She rarely takes it, and she shoots like 20% or something. But she could get that over the summer. Between seasons, she ever wanted to work on. I don't know why she doesn't. It'd make her even more deadly. She's sitting up by the 3-point line. You have to respect it. Next thing you know, she blows by you. But she's not that smart. She didn't realize how much the 3-point shot would make her even a better player. Yeah, she's probably a great athlete. So is Mitchell. But the reason she's not a good all-around player is because she's a head case. They're both head cases. You have to be smart and tough mentally to really get to the upper level is in sports because there's a lot of great athletes. So you have to have something that gets you to the next level. That's why Michael Jordan was the perfect athlete. He was so tough. And he put the hard work in, and he was clutch, ultra competitive. That's why I see in Caitlin Clark. I see in Michael Jordan. They played 5 games in a 10-day span. No back-to-backs, right? Excuse me. Kelsey can make you cheer and cry all in the same games. Yeah. I think the Fever can make you cry, cheer, and cry all in the same game. I was crying 3 quarters out of 8 in the last 2 games, the first half. MJ is the GOAT. Yeah. You want to get an argument from me? By now, everybody knows Michael Jordan's my favorite athlete. He's my favorite athlete, either individual or team-wise, of all time. I don't think anyone's going to replace him in my lifetime, but I hope somebody does. But I don't think so. He had too many unique things about him. It was like a perfect storm. Well, at least he caught her passes this game. I think he caught her passes last game too. Is that 2 games in a row that she caught her passes? Yeah, Dean Smith held Jordan back. Too much of that team ball stuff. Too slow paced. He and junior and senior year, they didn't do his junior and sophomore year. They didn't do much in the playoffs. They lost to like a 5 seed when he was his junior, and that was his last year. No, they don't understand that you have to see him play. You have to have seen him play. You pull your hair out. Mine's not long enough to pull anymore. I keep it shaved. I'm shaved. I'm not bald. I've been asking Rob to get his list together about 50 greatest basketball players of all time, NBA players of all time, but he seems slow on doing it. So I want to do a video on that. May wait till the fall, to the beginning of NBA season. We call head cases in Seattle just plain thick. Rob says he does all the work. I do almost all the work, but that's because Rob's busy with his wife and his job. It's not Rob's fault. I do a lot of research. I watch other people's videos. I read comments. I do research on the internet. I have to edit the videos. I have to come up with thumbnails. I have to answer the comments. It's a lot of it. So it keeps me busy. Ben Daniels agrees with me on almost everything in terms of his analysis. So I'd have to say he's a smart guy. He's just so serious. And he swears too much. I really don't see the need to swear. I don't swear at all in my videos because I want to make sure I can get the commercials from every product. But I think he's smart, and we have the same take, so I have to look at it that way. He knows basketball. And I also think that Chick Stig Scar podcasts, whoever that guy is, who he seems to be incognito. I think he's smart and knows basketball. And Mick Hoops is a little harder to judge because he's all over the place with his opinions. He knows basketball. I'll say that. I just don't agree with all his opinions. That's true. I still think Jordan is better than Russell and Wilt, though, even though it's hard to compare them. Adrienne Ross is very good. I think she's smart. I think she knows basketball, and I agree with her takes. The only thing I think she thinks Kobe is better than he is. Other than that, I agree with her takes. Yeah, she had this take on Kobe recently, where basically she said he was the second greatest basketball player of all time, and that he was at least as competitive and hardworking as Jordan, if not more. Which I almost choked on that one. Other than that, she's smart and she's funny too. Yeah, but Russell's offense was so limited. It just really was. It's hard to call him the greatest player of all time. He certainly was the greatest winner and probably the greatest defensive player of all time, and a great rebounder and a great leader and all that stuff. He seemed like a likable guy. He was a good announcer at first, and then he kind of like, I don't know, he seemed to run out of ideas. At first, he did good color commentary. Then after a couple of years, he seemed to be out of it. Anyways, it's 8:00, guys. Anyone want to make a contribution to the channel before I go? You can. There's super chat and super thanks. I'll be there Saturday at 8:00. Maybe I'll stream on early. What channel is it on? You guys know? Yeah, there was 8 teams when he started, Mark. And then it went to, I think, 9. I think might have got to 10 before he left. Yeah. Let me see. What channel is it on that night? Let me just check. What channel are we on Saturday? It's on NBA TV. All right. I could handle their pregame show. I don't like the pregame of ESPN because they can't. They're afraid to say anything positive about Caitlin Clark. They get fired. So woke black man, you were on Pornhub. Rob, I ate dinner tonight. You want me to throw up? Bally Sports and yeah. So maybe I'll go on early if I can and see in the pregame shows at 7:30. If they have pregame show, I'll turn into that. I can listen to that. I can't listen to ESPN's pregame show because they're just so anti Caitlin Clark. They're afraid to say anything nice. The pregame show for the game on Friday was good. The announcer and the color commentator, she said some really nice things about Caitlin Clark's game and passing and stuff like that, so that was good. Give it midcourt. Anyway, some guy told me I was delusional because I said Caitlin Clark has the potential to be the GOAT of WNBA history. Considering there's no clear-cut GOAT in WNBA history, that's not that hard. It's not like there's this one big GOAT that you have to overcome. It's not even clear who is the GOAT in the WNBA. You don't have to overcome Michael Jordan. You have to overcome like 6 or 7 women, each of who you could claim was the GOAT. So that shouldn't be that hard. People think that A'ja Wilson's going to be the GOAT, and she might be. Cheryl Reeves is, or Cheryl Miller? Cheryl Swoops. Cheryl Swoops, she was a great player. She was great in college. She was probably one of the top 6 players in college history. She's up there, I mentioned. And in pros, she was probably one of the top 6 players of all time, too. She played defense. You got to give her that, too. I think she was Defensive Player of the Year 3 times. So I have to give her that. But she's a mental case right now. She is. She's delusional. Lisa Leslie, if you look at, I did this chart on all the players, greatest players of all time, and I did MVPs, and I also did MVP shares, where you get 5 points for an MVP, and I think I gave him 3 points for runner-up and 2 points for third and 1 point for fourth. And Lisa Leslie had the most MVP shares of anybody in WNBA history. Yeah, that's the problem with Cynthia Cooper and Cheryl Swoops is they won 4 championships, but they had each other. Really wasn't fair, you know. But Cynthia Cooper was better offensively, but Cheryl Swoops was better defensively. But Cynthia Cooper went over to play in Europe because there was no league. And she came back, and even Cheryl Miller talked about this, came back a really good player, you know, just all around game and stuff like that. Especially her offensive game was unstoppable. Yeah, Swoops abused. I didn't want to do a video on that because it just seemed kind of irrelevant to my channel, but she abused a bunch of players at college, and none of them wanted to come back, and none of them, like people that were going to be there, weren't going to come back if she was still going to coach, and they had to get rid of her. That's what I heard. Like 10 out of 12 players said something. That's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. So I'll see you guys Saturday at 8. I may go on the air at 7:30. I think Rob's working. I'm not sure. We'll see. All right. So have a good night, and hopefully they're going to win against the Lynx, because I like to see Cheryl Reeve be depressed before Caitlin. Right. All right. Good night, guys. I'm going to end this stream. We'll see you Saturday. Be fair or be square, or be there or be square.